My name is Harry. I recently joined a fraternity at my rural college because I wanted to experience the sense of kinship and brotherhood offered by one. Shockingly enough, I was not hazed, beaten, forced to drink alcohol, or anything absurd. They kinda just made me sign some mock contracts, saying stuff like, I won't be a dork or I like beer. But it wasn't legally binding, so I didn't mind. The leader of this group, Frank, I use the word leader lightly because he had no real position. He was simply the richest and most respected, was a very rotund sophomore with a thick beard and a shockingly gentle heart. Frank was also an amazing cook and fine with sharing his wealth, so everybody let him do whatever in exchange for good food and cash. If he said, fucking shower, man, you were showering. If he said, we're going to the mall, we were going there. If he said, nobody cares what you want, well, that last decree from the college king may make you think Frank was a bully or abusive. But there was a good story behind that. He was saying that to a whiny freshman alumni who didn't want to go to Chili's, even though everyone else did. But enough about the fun times. I need to tell you why I posted this here. It was a cold winter evening. I had just rushed the frat. We were watching Game of Thrones, shouting advice at the characters as we drank beer and ate chicken tenders. These weren't store-bought crap. Frank breaded, seasoned, and deep-fried them himself in the kitchen. No preservatives, deboned by his hands, perfectly tender and natural. Frank was in the kitchen, stuffing the leftover bones, meat, gristle, and some leftover skin and blood into a bucket. Curiously, I walked into the kitchen and asked my brother, "What's with the bucket?" I asked, sipping MTN Dew voltage from a can. Frank groaned and popped his neck before answering, "I'm going to go feed the pig. You wanna come with?" I followed Franklin down the stairs into the dark basement. I had already begun to grow suspicious, but my fears seemed confirmed when I found that the basement was a room. A room with iron cuffs, tasses, and tranquilizer darts mounted on the walls, and a chair next to the locked door with an empty bottle of vodka next to it. The door was locked with 9 locks, 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, and 3 on the side. Why the hell would we need this much security for a pig? But my fears would soon take a completely different tone. Upon opening the door, we were met with a dark room and a beautiful woman in the corner, asleep in a pool of red. I opened my mouth to scream, but Frank put a finger on my lips. "SSH, you'll scare her." The lady in the darkness awoke, and when she crawled from the corner, I saw that she was no lady. Her fingers were each 0.5 longer than a finger should be, and thin, with nails that ended in hooked and sharp points. Her eyes weren't just gone, but like they were never there in the first place, with 2 empty pools of shifting black that sometimes sagged, but never dripped a drop. She was bald, her bones showed almost everywhere, her skin was saggy and crooked like it was not meant for her, and her shark-like teeth and lips were stained with a brownish substance that seemed like decayed blood. Frank sighed at my horrified face and stepped forward, kicking a bucket of blood and giblets at her. I saw the female thing sniffing around, it might have been blind, and looking in our direction before eagerly dipping her face in the bucket and guzzling up the gore and blood like it was a 5-star meal. When she was done, Franklin gently asked it to give him the bucket back, almost whispering in a soft voice like he was trying his hardest to avoid anything that could bother this creature. Grumbling like Gollum, the beast kicked the bucket towards him, gurgled, and crawled to the corner to resume resting. Horrified, I asked Franklin if this was a normal occasion. "Oh, it sure as hell is, boy. And get used to it, because next Friday, we gotta bath her. And it's your turn."